Right, so let's taxi out towards runway 17. Boogie, don't see landing lights? That is strange. Okay, I've not noticed that. So, quickly the brake check. Brakes are working. Then we'll get our aircraft ready for departure. Do the config test. So, before takeoff checklist, flight controls were checked. Flap setting is 1 plus F. Takeoff speed flex, we have 144, 144, 145, and the flex is 64. EK memo, takeoff no blue, so that's down to the line. And so, we are getting lineup clearance. I hope you guys are looking forward to Innsbruck. I am definitely looking forward to it. Strobe light going on. And the packs, we said we want to switch the packs off for takeoff. Just checking the approach sector is clear. Runway is also clear. Just going to turn the brightness up of the displays here. Peter, there is a way to actually get most of the FSX sceneries working into the P3D version. There's some workarounds. It is sometimes a little bit tedious to do that, but most add-ons should actually work on P3D. But then again, there's rumors out that P3D 64-bit is coming out this year, so maybe you want to wait until that version has come out. Right guys, ready for departure. Before Bruno tells me off again, I'm going to start the chrono, and I'm going to start the TCAS as well. Alright. So, takeoff. Going to set 50% and 1. And here we are, stable, takeoff. And we have Manflex 64 SAS, and auto thrust is blue. Always a bit bumpy at the beginning.
Radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
And we have 100 knots.
Wind shear ahead.
Harvester 211, thank you so much for the sub, man. Welcome to the one engine out airline. V1 rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Thank you so much for the support. Welcome to our one engine out airline. Enjoy your stay. And make sure that you read the notum to subscriber in the Discord channel. Right, autopilot 1. Beautiful departure out of Graz. Already in acceleration phase. So thrust, climb, climb, alt blue, auto thrust. And S speed, flaps going 0. And we're going to turn on the first pack. Mosh Mosh, good evening, welcome. And turning on pack number 2.
Autopilot.
Coole Cloud, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Autopilot.
Right, switching off the nose gear signs here. How long until the Innsbruck approach? I would say about 35-40 minutes. So I'm just gonna have a look. Estimate landing time is 6:10, which means in about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Right, let's continue climb level 300. Chris Clark, alright, see you then. Yeah, Lemtrix, the approach we're gonna do is the localizer 2.6 and then the circling onto 0.8. That's one of the approaches that most people look forward to or find it most complicated, which it is with the jet. So let me just get the weather here. Options. Oops. Atsu. Weather request. LOWI. And so latest weather says, oh, it's 260 at 5 now. It doesn't matter. We're still gonna fly the 0.8 circling approach. And so scattered 6.5, broken 11,000, that's good. 15 degrees, QNH 1019, that's fine. Alright, above level 100, we're gonna release the cabin. Switch off the lights here. And enjoy the outside view. Very nice scenery here. Beautiful. Oh, and I have actually installed Vector, ORBX Vector. Hopefully it won't mess up my system. Red Smix, hey, welcome. And Apache, hi. So that looks pretty... I'm not sure if Vector is responsible for that. That looks different now. Looks a lot more realistic. It does look nice. Yeah, thanks to Brennelt, we actually did a flight to, what was it, Quito? La Paz? Yeah, also La Paz. We did a flight there with the 777. Symbiosis, sorry for the deleted link. If you want, just chat that to me. Oh, I love that scenery. Gorgeous. Really nice. It looks really realistic. Nice. Yeah, exactly, Summits. We are doing the visual approach 0.8. So circling, I call it circling, or visual approach, doesn't matter what you call it. So it's localized approach 2.6 with the break off. And I will do the briefing for you guys as well once we reached cruising level. Yeah, I tried ORBX this afternoon, and I mean the FSLabs. Everybody knows that that really is performance hungry. So, nevertheless, it's running very nicely, and I can show you that at the moment the VAS is minus 0.76. So we'll have a look how ORBX Innsbruck performs. Alright. So 2,000 feet to go. I'm gonna start selecting vertical speed. Sky texture you use. Summits, at the moment I'm using Nvidia for the sky. And the clouds are Aktive Sky Cloud Art. And so M4RT Jones, yeah, thank you so much for watching then. Alright, welcome to the channel. Alright, so let me just give you a quick overview of what we're going to fly now. So what we'll do, we're going to proceed to Rattenberg and we'll fly 1 or 2 holding patterns, maybe 1 holding pattern. And then we'll start the approach. Pretty straightforward, heading 210, descend to 9,500 feet. And then we'll intercept the localizer. Now I know that it also shows a glide slope, but it's not authorized for that, so we can't use it. This is a localizer DME approach, so I'm only going to use the localizer mode. And for the descent, I'm going to use track FPA, sorry, the flight path angle mode, not track. So localize a flight path angle, and we'll cross-check the altitudes from the ILS DME. Fly down to the minimum of 3,700 feet, because that is the minimum we're going to dial in, and that is for the visual circling here. So the visual circling inbound 3,700 feet, and then at 4.2 dB we're going to break off left, heading 230, maintain 3,700 feet, and then proceed pretty close to the mountains here on the left hand side. And there's the church, and actually now with the ORBX scenery you can actually see that church, which is very nice. It's a visual cue, and then at that point we're going to start the base turn, and it's a pretty steep 25-30 degree turn towards the final, and then we're going to start our descent as well, and just make sure that we actually get into the correct slot here for the landing. So we're going to have a bit of tailwind, I'm afraid, but nevertheless, like I said, this is the interesting approach, and so we'll fly that. Vulkistos, good evening, welcome. And if we can't do the approach, if we're too high, too fast, whatever, we do missed approach, we will continue back outbound towards Rattenberg and climb back to 10,000 feet and then do another approach. But we'll see how that goes. So I hope you guys now know what I'm going to do. The Holy Lord gives us Simon turning inbound. Yeah, exactly, Robert. Alright, so let's have a look at the map here. And so "30 miles to Rattenberg," meaning we're going to have to lose 10,000 feet, but we are going to fly a holding pattern at Rattenberg just to get everything nicely stabilized. Yeah, the 320 and the approach, it is challenging, but it's manageable. You can actually do that approach. Yeah. So from this angle, we're going to do a direct entry, and that's nicely programmed already by the FMS. However, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to reduce the speed. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for the airplane to actually maintain the holding area. Yeah, there's no auto brake max in the A320. The maximum auto braking you use is medium. Otherwise, you would have to do max manual braking. Yeah, usually the FSLabs will manage the entry quite nicely. However, at some point, sometimes you get a heading motor version here. Yeah, so the best way to do a fast descent is high speed with the speed brakes out. That way you create such a lot of drag that you can actually lose altitude really, really quickly. And we're talking about energy management. I mean, traveling through the air at a certain speed means you have a certain kinetic energy. And also with the potential energy being up high, you have to dissipate that energy somehow. And if you want to do that, you create drag. That way it's a lot easier to lose that altitude and lose that energy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate the approach phase. But before I do that, I need to put in the weather, which is QNH 1019er. Temperature 15 degrees. And wind is 260 at 5. The minimum we set 3,700 feet. And a config full approach. So let's have a look how the FSLabs manages the entry. I'm going to select manage speed. So we're going to slow down to green dot. And I'm going to descend now to 9,500 feet. And that means transition is at 10,000 feet. And so the QNH is 1019er. Right, I think we can actually now do the approach. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select immediate exit here. And that way, the aircraft should now follow the path towards the intercept. We'll see how that goes. Nix, hi, welcome. Where's the lighting for the cockpit? Crew car. You have rotary dials here underneath the auto flight control unit here. There's 2 rotary buttons. You have the overhead integrated lights here. You have a floodlight here, so dome light. And then on the center panel you have 2 integrated or floodlight, main panel, and then also floodlight for the center panel here. Yeah, you can either press the immediate exit or press direct to and then the next waypoint, and that way you can also exit the holding. Yeah, if you're getting below green dot, the pitch angle will get so high that you're creating a lot more drag again, and that way it's you know, off the best glide speed again. Cloud cities. Yep, alright. So we are now going to start the approach. Let's see how that goes. That's going to be interesting. Presently, minus 0.68 VAS. So everything is fine. And how do you use the switch? How do you switch on the light for the FCU panel? No, that is the FCU panel light here, Reynolds. Here. It's a rotary dial, so you can see rotating that increases, decreases the lighting. The same for the background lighting. That's lighting for the flight control unit. In real life, can you place distant rings in the ND via the MCDUs? Yes, you can. Hopefully with the next service pack from FSLabs, it will be implemented, hopefully. Gomendio, welcome. Hello. So it has worked. We saw that we pressed the immediate exit, and so now we are proceeding towards the localizer. And I'm going to do this with the heading. Actually, track I'm going to use, track FPA. And then I'm going to arm the localizer switch here. And now I'm going to switch off the flight director. It's a non-position approach, so I'm going to do that. Why is the chrono still on? Because otherwise Bruno will tell me off. That way we know that we've had 34 minutes flight time. And I'm going to select, let's have a look. Yeah, we'll select the VOR ILS mode, so the ROSE ILS mode. Very important now is we have to cross-check the altitudes. So we have Oscar Echo Victor DME. So presently 22. Let me just put that up here so you guys can see that. And now we have log star. So we are intercepting the localizer. And at 19 DME we are going to descend. And before some discussions comes, I'm going to select 3,700 feet. That way we'll actually do a level off at that altitude. That's our minimum. Now we have to set a different altitude in here. Otherwise, with the track FPA function or the FPA function or the vertical speed function, it will not leave the actual maintaining altitude. It doesn't do that in real life, but here in the FSLabs it does exactly that. Chris Clark, not that I have heard of it. I'm not sure what the policy is. Brad Floyd, thank you very much, and thank you so much for coming by. So here is 19.2, oops, before we forget. So we're pulling the FPA, and I'm going to select 3.8 degrees. Well, actually, I'm going to have to increase that a little bit. Flaps going 1, because otherwise will speed up too much. Yeah, I had to change the vibration settings, yeah, exactly, in chase plane, because it was just vibrating so much. Let me just give you a quick idea. Well, actually, at the moment there's not much turbulence, but yeah, I did deactivate that, or I just scale it down somewhat. So we can see the airport already up in front, and a big lag here at the moment because it's rendering in. So there's the runway, there's the airport. Right, the crossing altitude at 16 dmi, 8,340, so 100 feet high. But pretty much on path, so I'm going to select 3.8 now for the descent, and I'm going to select gear down, help me brake the aircraft, or not brake the aircraft, but slow down the aircraft. Now, once you move the flap lever to flaps 1, the status page pops up, and so this is the status, so we've checked that. Gear is down, flaps going 2. Now at 13 dmi, we should be 7,130 feet. The mountain textures, yeah, well, actually on the left, it has to do with the settings regarding the distance rendering. So just to save some VAS and performance for me streaming, so the close by scenery looks okay, I think, but the more distant, yeah, that has to do with my settings. And I'm going to select flaps 3, already arming the speed brake, so don't have to do that during the low level turns. Right, one more cross check of the altitude, 10 miles, 5,920. So I can see I'm a bit high in the profiles. Let's correct that. Real life? No, I've never flown into Innsbruck real life, unfortunately. I wish I had, but I haven't. Yep, so the DME is now 5,110, so pretty much on track. Yep, usually ORBX, exactly. So at the moment, luckily, not much wind. Wind is calm. I'm using live weather, so that's actually what is being fed into the simulator. Now the turn off to the left is at 4.2 dmi. So now I'm going to use track.
Minimum.
We'll continue. And at 4.2 dmi from Oscar Echo Victor, which is now, we're going to turn left, track 230. Yeah, because that's easy. Actually, people want to see me do the circling. Yeah, in real life, of course, if the wind would allow that, then you would land on runway 26. But, I mean, we're streaming. We're here for entertainment. And so that's why I'm doing this circling 08. Right, so now we are pretty much visually with the visual approach, and looking for the oh, here it is. Look at that, very nice. So ski jump here. So very detailed map. Oh yeah. Let's just switch that off. Alright. So now we're gonna hug the countryside here, the mountains. And that way I'm trying to get a big, or just increase the arc for the final turn, because we are on a big jet. Dark Berlin, can't say that. That is private. Yeah, it does look amazing. They've made a good job, really have. So hugging the countryside here, or the mountains, I should say. And there's the church. That's our turning point for the turn onto final. Yeah, Red Smacks. I mean, you can do that. You can fly the ILS and it just land. You know, everybody like, you know, do the way or fly the way they want to.
500.
So maybe a bit too close to the countryside here. I have to admit. When the people looking out the window here, they're probably say, "What the hell?"
300.
Right. Let me fly manually here. So here's the church. That was what I was trying to point to. And that's our turning point for the final turn. It's actually depicted on the approach chart.
400.
Right. Manual thrust as well. Flaps going full. And so the runway is right over there. And then we'll do our final turn. And we'll start our descent. And there's a little valley here we can actually use. So we have to really use 25-30 degree bank. And then we descend right along that. Yeah, real life, this approach would be really amazing. Would be really nice. So let's have a look how we're gonna line up. And let's have a look. Still high in the approach. Yeah, might be a little bit high for the... So 1,000 feet a minute in order to stay stabilized. Landing checklist. Ekamimo landing, no bloop. We should be okay. So let's see how we do that. Here we are, one red, and our brake is medium.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard.
So a little bit tough. Oh, that was a hard landing. Right, reverser coming. It's a good job the number just changed again. Idle reverse, manual brakes. Yeah, so that was one of my harder landings here on stream. Wow. Landing rate, I won't tell you. That was a lot.
Autopilot.
Yeah, actually, Lemtrix, that showed like
Autopilot.
500 feet a minute. So, I don't think you get applause for that.